The invisible weapon no one can see in Dubai. Something strange started happening. Tesla cars suddenly showed their location hundreds of kilometers away in the desert. Huge ships standing in the Arabian Gulf appeared on maps as if they were inside the desert. Even airplanes were jumping from one location to another within seconds. At first, people thought it was just a software bug. But it wasn't. This was actually the effect of a hidden weapon, being used in modern warfare, something far more dangerous than missiles or drones. Today, wars in the Middle East are no longer limited to traditional weapons. A new type of attack has entered the battlefield, one that targets navigation systems instead of buildings. This technology is called GPS spoofing and GPS jamming. It doesn't destroy objects directly. Instead, it confuses systems, making them believe they are somewhere else. And the most shocking part is that this same GPS technology was once a powerful weapon in past wars. Now, it has evolved into something even more dangerous. GPS was first used in war during the 1991 Gulf War. At that time, there were only 16 satellites, and the system was controlled mainly by the US military. Iraqi forces often got lost in the desert because they could not track their exact position, especially during sandstorms or at night. But US forces used GPS to move accurately, even in complete darkness or bad weather. This gave them a huge advantage. Missiles and bombs could hit targets with high precision, destroying communication towers and bunkers easily. Fast forward to today, and GPS is still being used in warfare, but in a completely different way. Instead of helping navigation, it is now being used to disrupt and confuse. In modern conflicts like the Iran-Israel tensions, GPS is no longer just a tool. It has become a strategic weapon. The first signs of this new warfare appeared when navigation apps started behaving strangely. Google Maps showed wrong locations. Tesla cars, Uber drivers, and delivery riders saw their positions jump far away from where they actually were. Some appeared in the sea, others deep in the desert. Even flight tracking systems showed unusual patterns. Planes seemed to jump between locations or follow impossible zigzag routes. Ships were also affected. Large vessels in the Arabian Gulf appeared on land, sometimes even forming strange circular patterns that are physically impossible. This was happening not just in the UAE, but across multiple regions in the Middle East. Eventually, it became clear that this was not a glitch. It was a deliberate interference with GPS signals, likely connected to military activity in the region. Modern weapons like drones and missiles depend heavily on GPS coordinates. For example, Iranian drones use GPS to find and hit their targets. If GPS signals are changed or disturbed, these weapons can miss their targets completely. This is why countries are now attacking GPS systems. By disrupting navigation, they can weaken enemy weapons without directly firing at them. However, this creates a serious problem. If a missile loses its target, it doesn't just disappear. It can land anywhere, possibly in civilian areas. This is why GPS interference is dangerous not only for the military, but also for ordinary people living nearby. To understand how this works, We first need to understand how GPS actually functions. GPS, or Global Positioning System, works using satellites orbiting the Earth. These satellites send signals containing exact time information. Your phone receives signals from multiple satellites and calculates how long each signal took to arrive. Since signals travel at the speed of light, your device can estimate the distance from each satellite. With one satellite, your location could be anywhere in a large circle. With two satellites, the possible location reduces to 2 points. With 3 or more satellites, the exact position is calculated. This process is called trilateration. Today, around 31 GPS satellites are active. They send signals on specific frequencies, but these signals become weak by the time they reach Earth. And this weakness is exactly what makes GPS vulnerable. GPS jamming is the simplest form of a powerful transmitter on the ground sends strong signals on the same frequency as GPS satellites. These signals overpower the real ones. As a result, devices cannot detect the original satellite signals anymore. This creates a blackout zone where GPS simply stops working. In this area, phones, drones, and navigation systems lose their location completely. For the military, this can stop enemy drones from reaching their targets, but it also creates risk. A lost drone or missile can crash anywhere, including homes or populated areas. That is why jamming alone is not always the best solution. To improve control, a more advanced method is used. GPS spoofing is more advanced and more dangerous. Instead of blocking signals, it sends fake but realistic GPS signals. These signals look real to devices but contain incorrect time data. Even a tiny change in timing, just 1 millisecond, can shift a location by hundreds of kilometers. Devices accept this stronger nearby signal and calculate a false position. This means a drone can be tricked into thinking its target is somewhere else. For example, it can be redirected toward the sea instead of a city. Then it can be safely destroyed. But for civilians, this creates serious risks. Airplanes, ships, and even financial systems rely on accurate GPS timing and positioning. If this data becomes false, the consequences can be severe. GPS spoofing is not just about navigation. It can affect aviation safety, sending planes off course without warning. It can also impact financial markets, where exact timing is critical for transactions. Even a small error in time stamps can disrupt trading systems and cause major losses. This technology has already been used in conflicts like Russia-Ukraine and Israel-Syria tensions. One of the most famous cases happened in 2011. WHE and Iran captured a U.S. stealth drone using GPS spoofing. They tricked the drone into landing inside Iran instead of returning to its base. This proved that invisible signals can control real machines. Today, warfare is changing. It is no longer just about weapons you can see. It is also about radio waves, data manipulation, and control of information. The future of war will depend not just on power, but on who controls the technology behind it.